I want you to pay attention to how close a person stands to you. If your friend backs away when you move closer, it may signify that your connection isn't mutual. This is especially obvious when you observe how people talk to each other in couples. If a person moves back in a chair during your conversation, this may indicate boredom or fatigue. Politeness doesn't allow most people to end communication even if they don't enjoy it. If you've noticed this micro gesture, you may want to ask about the person's well-being or suggest taking a break. When someone approaches you, even after you've moved away from them, this may indicate a desire to be dominant in your relationships or convince you of something. Body orientation is the angle of a person's body in relation to yours during your conversation. It often reveals who or what we're really interested in. Many people consider crossing arms while talking a bad habit because the audience may perceive this as a sign of vulnerability and self-doubt. This rule also applies to the legs. If you want to leave an impression of a confident and friendly person, try to stand and sit without crossing your legs and arms. Holding your hand behind your forearm is a negative signal to people around you. We usually take this position when we're gloomy or angry. And the higher you grab your hand, the unhappier you seem to people. Just like animals, people tend to demonstrate the so-called territorial behavior. The higher a person's economic and social position is, the more territory this person tends to occupy. People usually express it by making themselves comfortable in a chair, putting legs on a table, spreading their arms and legs wide apart, publicly stretching, and so on. Confident people don't hesitate taking up a lot of space, while people who feel insecure will unconsciously seek to take up less space, squeeze their shoulders, and keep their hands close to the body. When people hold drinks or phones at the level of their hearts, this may signify a subconscious desire to protect themselves from the world. Holding these items at the waist level reveals a person who feels safe and open to communication. If palms are facing upward, it means that, subconsciously, this person is suggesting or asking something. Most people associate open palms with truthfulness, honesty, and allegiance. Meanwhile, when palms are facing downward, it indicates a complaining and demanding mood. If a person starts to nod repeatedly and excessively while you're talking, it might indicate that the subject you're discussing is boring or unpleasant. So, people nod way too much when they try to prove their ability to follow instructions. You probably did this too in stressful situations, like starting a new job or meeting someone special. If this gesture is accompanied with frequent blinking, the person is likely to feel overwhelmed by the speaker's authority and craves to leave a good impression. When someone like you walks into the room, your subconscious mind will want to make sure that you look attractive. This may result in touching your clothes, fixing hair and accessories. People also tend to take a more graceful body position and even start looking around for a mirror or any other reflective surface. Some may constantly touch their own skin and lick their lips. If you notice this behavior in someone you're talking to, don't rush to plan your family though. Maybe somebody else in the room is the object of their affection. Or they're just perfectionists who want to look better in the eyes of other people. When someone fakes a smile, you will notice that their eyes aren't smiling along with the lips. Also, fake smiles aren't contagious, so you probably won't feel the urge to smile back. This issue can be easily resolved with a good, unpredictable joke. A clenched jaw indicates anxiety. Whether you notice it or not, it happens subconsciously. If you meet someone with clenched jaws, it probably means that this person is thinking about something stressful. Remember, there are no perfectly symmetrical faces in nature. If you know someone with such a face, this person is probably a robot. False asymmetrical emotions usually manifest as a raised eyebrow or a crooked smile distorted in one direction. When someone experiences intense emotions but tries to stay calm and bossy, it can cause them to blink with only one eye. Sudden blushing is usually involuntary and triggered by intense emotions such as embarrassment, shyness, guilt, or romantic feelings. These emotional triggers force the body to release adrenaline, which stimulates the nervous system and widens blood vessels. In most cases, blushing sends a signal that the person would like to avoid unnecessary attention. Also, red cheeks often indicate people who are afraid that their secrets might be publicly revealed. When people are really focused on conversation, their palms usually don't move. If you're talking to someone and notice this person is knocking a fist on the table or chair up and down, it's a sign that you're not engaging them. When you hear something cute, but at the same time the speaker clenches their fists instinctively, this person is probably exaggerating, lying, or trying to hide pent-up anger. Tilting the head to the side is regarded as a gesture of trust and sympathy. Vital arteries, which supply the brain with oxygen, are in the neck. People who feel any threat will instinctively hide these arteries, pulling their heads into their shoulders. People who tilt their heads while communicating usually seem much more attractive and trustworthy because this gesture brings playful vibes. When you enter a party, chances are all eyes are on you. Keep your eyes wide open to show that you're open to this world too. When you're smiling, keep your mouth slightly open. If the smile is too wide, some people might think that it's a bit fake. Time to greet everyone here. Remember that a weak handshake may be pretty offensive. It's the first impression after all. If your handshake is firm, people instantly think you're an outgoing and sociable person. Also, those who have a firm handshake are more likely to get a job. And yeah, nobody likes touching cold hands, so warm them up before handshaking. The way someone shakes your hand can show their intentions. A glove handshake means they can be trusted, and if someone touches your arm or shoulder while shaking your hand, it probably means this person lacks communication. Throw a compliment to whomever you're talking to. Psychologists claim everything we say influences the way people perceive us. When you give a compliment and say someone's stunning, they subconsciously start thinking you're nice. It works both ways. If you complain someone's not nice, people might think it's you who isn't nice, not the one you're talking about. To get even more people to like you, try a mirroring technique. It's basically all about reflecting and repeating the body language of the person you're talking with. It's also nice to meet someone just like you. As for body language, mind your posture. Keep your chin parallel to the floor and shoulders rolled back all the time. While sitting, keep the legs crossed. It helps to keep a good posture too. Touching people nonstop isn't a good idea, but a subtle touch can make people feel better about you when you're talking with them. Tap them slightly on the back or touch their arm, but please don't go to extremes. An experiment showed that waitresses who used this technique while returning the change earned larger tips. Profit from that. To make someone like you even more, try telling them a secret. It should be something personal that could be used against you. It works both ways, but your new friend must be sure you won't spill the tea. Trustworthiness is as vital as loyalty and honesty. When you talk with someone and get a dissatisfactory answer, try looking them in the eye. This way, many people start feeling something's wrong, which might possibly make them change their mind. Whenever you're having a hot discussion and your opponent just won't agree with you, start speaking faster. This way, they just won't have enough time to process everything and they'll have to think it over again and probably reconsider their opinion. It works both ways. If a person agrees with you, start speaking slower so that they could evaluate the message properly. Reading body language can help you read people's minds. If someone closes their eyes, they're either hiding something or they're just tired of you. Probably both. When a person touches their mouth, it must be because they've just said something they didn't mean to, or they have a cold sore.